Hello and Assalamualaikum. We meet again, this time in my video session. In this video session, I will discuss on the topic regarding the demand of maritime transport. My name is Mama Azamdin and welcome to my video presentation. Stanford in 2009 wrote that the key which influenced the demand of maritime transport consists of 5 variables. These 5 variables consist of number 1, the world economy, number 2, the seaborne commodity trades, number 3, the average haul, number 4, the cost of transport, and number 5, the random shock that occurs in the world. Now, let's discuss in detail each variable related to the demand of maritime transport. Let's look at the first variable. The first variable of demand for maritime transport is the world economy. The most important influence of maritime transportation demand is the world economy. The world economy generates most of the demand for ocean transport. These ocean transport have been used to transport many raw materials for manufacturing purpose or finished product which will be used or consumed by the consumers. The economic cycle lays the foundation of freight rates. When the fluctuation of economics, when the economics goes down, the demand for ocean vessel will also goes down. Such fluctuation of freight rates is parallel with the cyclical pattern of economic movement. That means when the economy is going up, the demand for ocean transport also will goes up. On the contrary, when the economy goes down, so the same pattern goes to the demand of ocean vessels. Such cycles of the world economy mirrored the cycle of sea trades. Therefore, the business cycle in world industry is the most important causes that affected the demand for ocean transport. Now, let's look at the second factor that affected demand of maritime transport. The second factor that affect demand of maritime transport is the commodity of seaborne trade. The seaborne commodity trade is a very volatile and it is a short-term basis. What it means by seasonal is that it occurs at certain period of time in a year. Short-term volatility of seasonal in certain product affected the demand of maritime transport. For example, many agriculture products are subject to seasonal activities. In this case, agriculture products such as grains, sugar, citrus and wheat will be harvested, for example, in a certain period of time in a year, maybe in the month of September. As most of these agricultural products will be planted perhaps in April, but by September it will be harvested. So when the harvesting of these commodities has built up on September of each year, there's these grains, these agriculture's commodity need to be transported to the buyers who purchase the products. Therefore, for example, in September, this commodity has been built up and need to be transported. The demand for bulk cargo vessel occurs in September of that year. This is because the bulk cargo vessel is the suitable mode of transport to move commodity products such as wheat, grains, and sugar from one destination to another. Also, in the context of liner services, the liner container vessels, the seasonal occasion usually occurs near to either Christmas or Chinese New Year. What I mean is, in Christmas or Chinese New Year, is that 3 months prior to Christmas or 3 months prior to Chinese New Year, there will be a surge, increase in order for products such as toys or chocolates or any materials for Christmas. In terms of Chinese New Year, there will be a surge for Chinese locum. Because of this, the seasonal occurs whereby the demand of container increases. Therefore, liner service has to cope up with such increased demand for movement of this product in container from one port to another. The third variables that affected demand of maritime transport is related to average haul and ton miles per vessel. An ocean vessel is the ocean vessel demand is determined by the precise metrics of distance that the vessel took to complete a voyage from point A to point B. For example, an ocean tanker that sailed from Arabian Sea to Europe by sailing over the Cape of Good Hope at the tip of South Africa would took 5 times much longer trips compared to a same ocean tanker that sails from Jebel Ali to Marseille by crossing over the Suez Canal. Such distance affected between these two comparisons is referred as average haul. So, to measure average haul, it is determined by measuring the ocean transport demand by the tons per miles. The tons per mile measurement is referring to 1 ton of cargoes that will be moved at 1 mile's distance. In a situation whereby average ton per mile increases, for example, if there is a blockage at the Suez Canal, vessel have from Far East to Europe has to go through the Cape of Good Hope at the tip of South Africa. There also will be increase in the demand of ocean transport to move a cargoes because the length it is much more longer. 4 variables that affected the demand of maritime transport is the cost of sea transport itself. In the context of cost, the cost of sea transport, any materials that been transported from its point of source to its destination, if the cost of sea transport itself could be reduced to an acceptable level, or some major benefit is obtained from the transportation process, the cargo owners would prefer to use that sea transport. So when the cost of transportation is reduced, cargo owners were able to transport their product much more happily because they will gain much more economic profits. As we can see, when ocean vessels are getting bigger and bigger, there is much more effective way to transport raw materials and cargoes. A bigger ocean vessel, a bigger size of ocean vessel, able to transport raw materials and cargo in a large quantity. So when we transport something in a large quantity, the cost of transportation per unit of each product reduces to a lower amount. So when this has reduces, the manufacturer and the cargo owner will enjoy much more economic profit. So the cost of sea transport does not have any impact in the short run. No, in the short run it does not have any impact. So however, in the long run itself, the cargo owners might have obtained a favorable economic advantage. They would gain much more economic profit in the short run, as they would produce a lot of products in a large quantity, and this product could be sold anywhere around the world, and the lower cost of transportation will reduces their cost of operation and increases the sales, increases their profit. So the cost of transportation itself affected the demand of maritime transport. The fifth variable that affected the demand of maritime transport is referred to the impact of politics. This impact of politics is known as random shocks. Any random shock occurrence will disturb economic system, and it may contribute to cyclical economic process. Changes in the weather, occurrence of civil war, pandemic outbreaks, changes of commodity price, and the found of new resources are examples of random shock that may affect business cycle and directly affected economic cycle. The occurrence of random shock created economic shock. Such disturbance in economic shock disturb the demand of ocean transport. The retaliation effect of pandemic such as COVID-19 in the year 2020 has halt or stopped production of manufacturers. As manufacturing product stops, this resulted to a low supply in products in the market. When there is low product in the market available, it will result to a lower demand for ocean transport. So the demand of ocean transport plummeted due to COVID-19 pandemic. Another example, in the year 1990 to 1991, during the Gulf War in the Middle East, the occurrence of Gulf War itself resulted to the closure of Doriol-Batman pipeline. This pipeline connected between Kirkuk in Iraq and Doriol port in Turkey. The stoppages of this pipeline has resulted to the halt operation or delivery of crude oil to Turkey. Thus, this crude oil has been stockpiled and because of the result of Gulf War, and such situation resulted to an increase in demand of oil tanker to transport oil from the Arabian Peninsula to Turkey. These two are example how random shock could either increase or decrease the demand of ocean transport. Well, here are the list of references that you could read for your further knowledge. I would recommend you to read the book from Martin Stopford, Maritime Economic 3rd editions. It is much more useful for you to have a copy and read the book for your reference. Well, we have come to the end of this session of video presentation. In conclusion, there are 5 factors or variables that affected the demand of maritime transportation. I hope that you have learned about these 5 variables and you will understand how does these 5 variables affected demand of ocean vessel. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for watching this video. Looking forward to meet with you again in my next presentation on the topic of the supply of maritime transport. Thank you, goodbye, and good speed.